Okay, so this is a starter solenoid. It's a replacement cap. It's a push to start button that mounts where your original cap is on your starter solenoid on a Harley-Davidson. This one happens to be a 2005 Dyna, which takes this particular style, and it comes with some, looks like pretty decent Allen button head bolts. We'll see how good those are, but anyway, it's machined aluminum. It looks like it's chrome plated. You can see some of the machining marks in there. And the button pushes out this way. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got some smudges and junk on it, probably from the manufacturing or handling or whatever, but it's got a little O-ring in the middle, which keeps out, you know, moisture and rain and all that wetness. And it also, it makes it nice and smooth, but it's kind of it's a firm, not real firm, but it's got some resistance when you push it in there, but it feels nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do is take some rubbing alcohol, 91%, and I'm going to clean all this up in there, the outside of this, hit that O-ring a little bit, and I'm going to take some silicone grease and just real lightly put some around this O-ring so that it'll slide nice, and it help seal it too, keep the moisture out of it. So after I get that done, I'll come right back. Okay, so I just took some alcohol to clean the inside of this hole real well, and the outside of this little button with a little white shop towel with some alcohol on it. And then this little button comes out from the inside. I put just a little bit, just smeared some silicone grease on that O-ring, and just a little bit on the inside of that. And you know, it moves pretty smooth. So now I've got to take these 3 bolts off of this solenoid cover, and they look like they're easy to get to. I'll show you here in a minute. 9/32, 9/32 socket, and I've got a 6-point socket here. So that's what I'm going to use to take that cover off. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, you got 1, 2, 3. They all look like they're easy to get to. So when I get that off, I'll come back. Okay. 3 bolts, not very long. Like that right there, I don't know, ½ an inch long. And this, I had to take I took my little brass, little watch hammer, put it back here, and I tapped on that a little bit, and that paint, I guess it was kind of painted on, it gave way, and it's spring loaded, so it pops out a little bit. And then it came right off, and then sometimes your gasket will stick on the inside of your cover here. But in this case, it stayed here on the starter solenoid. So you take this off. You just peel that off. And now make sure it's, you know, pretty clean. This one looks good. And then you just put that on the inside of your starter button. Slap her back on there and you're good to go. Now, here's something I want to point out. Depending on how many miles you have on your bike, or how many times you've started it, you got a contact down here and a contact up here. So when you push this in, this copper washer on the inside here makes contact, which is what turns your starter over. Well, a lot of times this it's not bad. It could probably be used cleaned up, but I don't think I'm going to fool with that right now. It still looks pretty decent. These contacts right here, there's quite a bit of arcing that goes on in there when you start it. So a lot of times these either they make a replacement kit for, I don't know, around $30, between $20 and $30. Or you can take some sandpaper and clean those up, in which this case, sandpaper would be fine. So I'm not even going to fool with this one. It still looks like it's in good shape. I'm just going to slap her back together. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So I'll be back here just in a few. Okay, something else I wanted to point out. These replacement chrome or stainless, whatever they are, little button head bolts. I put just a little drop of blue thread locker on there like that. I'm going to do that to all 3 bolts, and I'll be right back. Well, it's on there now. That little Allen wrench that I used on it, it was pretty small. There was no size stamped on it, so I don't know exactly what size it was, but I'd say it was probably like a 3/32 down here, or maybe a 7/64. But I just used the little end of it and I just tightened them about as much as I could with my fingers, because these actually, I didn't even need a ratchet to get these bolts off. I could have easily got them off with this right here. They weren't very tight. So just to let you know. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Let's try the regular starter button up here, make sure it still works. Okay, that still works. We'll flip her back on. Let's see what we got down here. There it is. But what I forgot to mention, I think, is it's nice to have these on your bike. That way, if your starter relay, which is over on the other side, goes bad, or your starter button or any of that wiring in there doesn't want to work, you know, maybe you got burnt contacts or dirty contacts or a loose wire or whatever. This right here bypasses all that, and you get a full 12 volts down here to this button. So if your relay goes out, starter button, any of that wiring, you still got a starter right there. Nice to have.